I've been waiting on this. I think everybody has for at least a week. When we heard that we would have Dwight Anderson joining us on video chat this morning. Grey Cup champion with the Riders in 20. There he is. What is that jersey over your shoulder, DA? Is that a Stampeder jersey up? What is that?
Nah, man, that's the GOAT jersey right there.
Oh, Mufasa.
King Mufasa.
Oh, yeah. I get
I don't know what happened to the volume. I can't hear y'all right there.
Oh, not a good
This
start.
is the second time.
This is the second time.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
It is.
How are things in your world, DA? What's up with you?
Man, I'm cooling, man. Ain't complaining. Just living life, you know.
Where are you living at?
I'm in St. Louis.
Oh, beautiful.
Good old Midwest.
The Show Me State. And DA, a former St. Louis.
Show me guy.
Right. DA, we got so many questions to get through with you, but first of all, we'll start with this. When you think of your CFL career, and it was outstanding, Grey Cup wins, what do you think of? What's the one memory that keeps coming to mind first and foremost?
Man, that question came up the other day. I was having this conversation, and one of my friends, they was asking me, it was like, "Dan, you don't think you left the game too early?" I was like, not really. You know, I think I put enough time in. But what I really miss about it is just the fans, for real. You know, my interaction with the fans, and, you know, that was the fun part. Because the game itself is natural. You know, your ability and everything going to take over and do what you do. But just being out there game day, you know, walking around, getting to the field on game day, I think that's what I miss the most.
Well, and I think the fans miss you too, DA. But one thing I want, because for an interview like this with you, you've not really done many of these before. And before you came to Saskatchewan, I did not like you. Nobody liked you from here. You with Montreal, with Calgary. You were a real pain in our ass. And then you got here.
That's why I was DA.
You were being you. Yeah, exactly. Which same people think about me. You got here and I realized you are nothing like that guy on the field.
Hey.
And
not just you, though. A lot of Saskatchewan fans said that. Like, you know, just being around the city, meeting people, you know, they was like, "Dang, you totally different off the field than you is on the field." And I always tell people, just like even I tell my players now, like, you know, it's two different lives you got to live. You know, you got your life off the field and your life on the field. When you step between those white lines, you got to have an alter ego. That's what it is, you know what I mean? You got to transform to another person, because that field, you got to bring your best every day. And in order for you to bring your best, you got to have a mindset. So the mindset got to change. And you can't use the same mindset that you use on the field, off the field, because that causes problems.
right. But as you realize in post-football, you still got to bring your best every day in life, or you're not going to be successful in life. But let me ask you this. When you crossed the white line and you buckled that chin strap up, what changed when you literally went psycho, man? You're an all-star player, Hall of Famer, no doubt, but something snapped. What changed?
Dark Vader come out. You know what I mean? That's why I always tell my kids, they're like, "Dad, you wear that dark visor?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because when I put that helmet on, I get in my zone. I don't, you know, I just lock in. So, you know, that's just my personality. Like, I feel like, you know, if I don't live up to my expectation, then I'm fail. Because, you know, I like to talk trash, and in order for you to talk trash, you got to back it up. So in order for me to do that, I always prep myself for the week that I have to be prepared in every way. So, you know, and just like I teach my kids now when I coach them, it's like you have to get prepared throughout the week. So when game day comes, there's no questions.
DA, it's Marshall Hamilton here. Just a quick story, and then I'll ask you a question. I remember many years ago playing racquetball against my best friend. And my wife was watching from the window up top. And when it was over, she said, "You two look like you hated each other out there." And I think that's just the zone. I mean, you've used the term zone. I think that's a zone that athletes get into when they're competing. It's just, it's you turn on, you flick a switch, and this is my game zone. And then when it's over, let's go for a beer, let's have fun. I'm the friendly guy I was before. So I think it's just that zone that athletes get into. But my question to you is, what did you bring to the Rough Riders that year? I mean, we've heard broadcasters and so on comment on what you brought to the team, but what do you personally think you brought to the team that helped get that team over the edge?
I think I brought a little edge to the team, leadership, a guy that the players could depend on. So, like I knew that year coming in was going to be spotlighted on all the guys that Saskatchewan brought in that year. G. Roy and everybody. Everybody at that point, we were shooting to get the Grey Cup, without a doubt, with all the players that they signed. So, it wasn't just me. It was just a collective of everybody. Everybody bought in. And I think Coach Chamberlain did a great job as far as preparing us, as far as everything that we was going to go through. And then even on and off the field, because even off the field with the situation that happened down there in Downing, that could have divided the team. But that didn't divide the team. That actually brought us together. So, it was a big year. And I'll always remember, those memories. That memory always replay in my head. Even now, I go back and I watch the Grey Cup games, and I still get goosebumps. You know what I mean? Like, damn, just imagine playing that Grey Cup in your home stadium. That's what I always try to explain to people. Like, it's a total different when you play away and then you actually playing at home for a championship game. So that was amazing in itself, just to have the whole city out there and just that week preparing, going through the whole thing. Like, it was great. Well, so, every day I try to come in, I try to be prepared because I know everyone, like, as far as, especially the DB room, everybody always going to be watching what DA does. Like Coach Chamberlain always tell me, your teammates going to watch and see what you do. So it was more not our pressure because I like that. I like that extra pressure, as far as leading my guys. So, we had born leaders in there as far as like, Brackenridge and Mays. We had a great group of DBs that year. So that was great memories, man.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, you were with Chame in Calgary, so you guys knew each other. We were flying home from Calgary, losing after the Western semifinal, and Chame's like, this is what we're going to need next year, and we need DA. So he knew what you were all about. Yet, I know he threatened you. If you take one more OC, objectionable conduct penalty, you're going to, what was it, a fine? Was it a penalty? And you kept taking them anyways.
Had to read books.
Yeah, what was the threat Chame made to you if you take any more OC penalties?
I would have to read some books that he selected. Which he did though. I still got one. I still got one of the books. Like, you know what I mean? Like each week he'll come in. He's like, DA, this is the book of the week right here. I'm gonna give you this. I need you to read this, and then come back to me on this. I'm gonna ask you some questions about it. So Coach Chamberlain was a good guy, man. Like even when after we both left Calgary, it was kind of funny because when I was in Montreal and he was in Hamilton, and we used to talk, he was like, "Why didn't you sign with Hamilton?" Like, we still used to go back and forth about that. So, it was a good situation when it came back up as me being a free agent, and I was just evaluating the situation. And I'm like, you know what? This would be a great chance for me to get back with Chang, a guy that taught me a lot when I was in Calgary, which Calgary was really when my career really took off. Like Hamilton was just a preview. So Chang had a big impact in how I was developed as a player. So, I have the utmost respect for him. And when we talked that all season, he never, to be honest, he never begged me to come or anything like that. He pretty much just said, do what's best for you. And, I sat down at the time with my wife and kids and stuff, and we talked about it. And we was just like, Saskatchewan be a good move, but we know it's going to be a crazy move because we just know how it was between Saskatchewan and Calgary at the time. And then me and the fans in Saskatchewan with the machine gun thing and how we go back and forth. So that was going to be, we didn't know how that reception was going to be, but I was open to it because I figured once they get to know who the real DA was, everything will be cool.
Which it was. You're right. Yeah.
Dwight.
Marshall's got one. Marshall, did you have one or no?
No, I don't. But I do want to comment because I'm not sure if you can see it, DA, but somebody's asking for your book club. They want to know what your reading list was.
Man, it was a bunch of honestly, it was books that I had never heard of. Sometimes I used to ask them where did you find these books, man?
Like, they're not football
books. Is
they're
like that. Chamberlain is so smart, man. And that's one thing he always try to teach us. Outside of football, is a life after football. So And that was the biggest thing that he used to always try to teach us. Like, I know right now we're in a moment of playing football, but after football, you have to have that development to be able to live your life and not be in chaos, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the books was about that type of situation.
Dwight, you touched on it. Oh, sorry, go ahead. You touched on it earlier, how the midseason incident brought your guys closer together with the Dudney strip. But I'm curious now, after all this time has passed, how much did that weigh on you personally? Because the alter ego of DA on the field is one thing, and you seem to be able to just go out there and play. But personally, how difficult was it a time to go through when all those eyes were on you off the field as well?
You know, it actually it wasn't that bad at all, to be honest, and I'm seriously honest about it, because throughout that situation, I knew where I stand, and I just knew the process would play itself out, and I just knew that I always had eyes on me anyway, and how I lived my life was never crazy or nothing like that off the field, other than that situation, like, you know what I'm saying? So my typical thing is when I leave practice, I go to the house. I'm typically a house body. I'm in the house, I'm breaking tape down, I'm in there. The guys might come over, I might go over to one of the teammates' house. So I'm never really out like that. It just so happened that night, we all went out. Right. Not just one or two guys, it was like a bunch of guys went out. You know what I mean? And then the incident happens, and like you said, eyes is always on DA, so my name was one of the names that came up. So that was the promote name. So DA, oh, your name came up in this, that. So I just let the process play itself out. And once they got everything situated, they realized, okay, he wasn't a part of none of that. Right. So that's pretty much all it was.
Yeah. Lastly, DA, you've mentioned a couple times that you're coaching now. So, and I am in another role of life too, so I kind of get it. Do you have any kids that were like you? And what's that like?
Hey, trust me, I get it every day I go to practice. There's some kid come up like, oh, coach, I seen your highlight. Oh, coach, I seen this interview on the internet. Oh, coach, oh, you say Calgary sucked. You know, like I get all of it. Like they come back. But it's good for them to see that, because the way I coach is how I play. I coach the same intense way. And I have parents even say it. They're like, oh, my God, you make such a difference in my kid's life within a year or so. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, Miller, he never wanted to play football. He wanted to give up, but now he's just so excited. Coach DA is coaching him. So hearing stuff like that just kind of give me goosebumps, like, okay, I'm doing something right. And we took the team that I'm coaching for now, when I got there, they was like pretty much winning about 3 or 4 games a year. And then last year we went 9-4. So, you know what I mean? That was big. So I'm looking forward to this year again to see what I could do, you know, work a little magic. You know, I get a little, oh, he's cheating, he's a professional. I'm like, hey, I can't help it that I know football. And I'm a blitzing guy, too.
That's why Chamberlain loved you so much. So, right. DA, you always have a home here. I appreciate it. Hakuna Matata, and keep in touch.
Mufasa. Oh, for sure. And just to let you know, this is my flag football team, you know, and you was talking about earlier playing with your friends and stuff like that, and that's what I do now. You know, I'm a spare time on Sunday, so I go out there, play some flag football and tear them up. You know, DA still do DA. I lock them down, put some hands on them. They get mad. Like, you can't do that.
Well, you wouldn't change.
No challenge flags in that league.
No.
Yeah.
Nah, it's no challenge at all. But,
Don't
you know,
go,
I just love football, man. That's just what it is.
Don't go
Football,
change it now, DA.
Oh, nah, I never will. I'm still aggressive. I still get people like, hey, DA, you might need to calm down a little bit. I'm like, nah, I'm the coach now. I could talk.
You can make people read books now. You can make them read the books.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
All right, Dwight, thanks for this. We'll tell more stories next time you're on. Appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a blessed day.
All right, Dwight Anderson from St. Louis, Missouri on video chat. And I know you love this story. When the day the Riders signed him to come here for the 2013 season, you remember the interview that I did. He was on the radio with me. Oh, I know we're running out of time here, but he poked Weston Dressler right in the eye through his face mask in Montreal in a game. And right after the game, we're flying home, and Dressler's eyes swelling up, like it's red and then it's closed. And I said to Greg Marshall, we got to get pictures. So it was 2011 that he did it. I said to Greg Marshall, we got to get pictures of that while it's at its worst. And he's like, that's a good idea. Where did you learn to do that? And I said, we used to do it on the Pats bus all the time. We'd stop and buy a camera and take pictures of guys, And anyways, so that's what he did to Weston. And Weston's like family to us, right? So I addressed DA on the air, and I said, are you ready to finally apologize to Weston Dressler? And he says,
for what?
For what? Didn't even remember it.
No, yeah.
And that,
didn't
does
happen.
that surprise you now after watching that interview?
That's because it happened when he was in his Darth Vader mode.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't do it.
Beep.
Darth Vader did that.
Snap show. Anyways, guys, thanks. We're going to bring DuPont in here for overtime, but what a fun day today.
It was great. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.